And you can see the destruction firsthand. John and Abby?
Well, you certainly can, Susan. In fact, as far as the eye can see here in South Joplin, a 6-mile, about half a mile wide swath. It's almost as if someone just took their hand and just brushed across a model city and wiped everything out. It's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. And we were talking earlier, you know, we're not too familiar with Joplin as it was before. But we can just go across and see that homes were supposed to be in these places that are completely leveled. It is like nothing I have ever experienced myself, and I'm sure many people have not experienced this amount of destruction, this wide range.
At a briefing this afternoon, one of the Missouri National Guard leaders said it's trite, perhaps, but it was like a nuclear bomb had gone off, and that's exactly what it is. Bark stripped from trees, cars tossed about. We can show you an example of that right here.
This is a limb, a big one at that, but you can see where the bark is supposed to be and where it was stripped off.
Yeah, as if to underscore that search and rescue effort right now. It went from 7 rescues this afternoon, just in a couple of hours, to 17. They clearly believe there may still be people alive in the rubble you see behind us. Earlier today, Governor Jay Nixon had a chance to tour the damaged area, not just to tour the damage, but also to see the efforts of the 40 agencies from all over the region. Eric mentioned the Kansas City, Missouri police and fire departments. There are groups from Arkansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kansas who are here assisting. As we mentioned, the key here is not recovery at this point. As the governor pointed out today very emphatically, this is a search and rescue effort right now.
Doing right now.
All right, you heard the reference there, Governor Nixon mentioning 7 rescues. Again, that's gone to 17 tonight, and even just moments ago, we saw a team. In fact, you can see a team right now. Ron, I don't know if you can see them out there. They are searching through the rubble of that house. They have the helmets on, the lights on the top of the helmets, and they are searching for survivors tonight. That is the key. Certainly may recover as well, but Abby, they are looking for people who may still be alive trapped in the rubble. And Missouri Southern State College is a shelter, but sadly it is also tonight a temporary morgue. The Jasper County Coroner's Office has set up a temporary morgue at the college. Just to get by for now. We are told there are 90 bodies there, and they expect to receive more at that temporary morgue, which is being run by the county coroner here with the assistance of other coroner's offices in southwest Missouri. They are hoping to move the morgue closer to the Jasper County Sheriff's Office. They may try to relocate as early as tomorrow, but for now, as they work to identify the remains and release the names of those who have been killed, that is the temporary location for the morgue. So a once vibrant college, students getting ready to go home for summer vacation, finishing up their finals, is tonight both a shelter and, sadly, a morgue as well. One footnote, they told us earlier, we know that there were at least 5 deaths at the hospital that was destroyed here and is now closed. But they said they're basically not quite ready to break down the age and genders of the victims or exactly where they are killed. So we expect to hear more about that in the coming hours.
We're also finding some uncommon things amongst the rubble here.
It's amazing what a 198-mile-per-hour wind can do and yet not do. For example, we just found this, what appears to be perfectly good stethoscope, likely from the hospital right across the street, which was destroyed, or perhaps one of the clinics here in the area. As we were driving tonight, just sort of surveying this ground zero area here, a house, the roof gone, the shell of the house, and inside through the window, we could see children's clothing hanging in a row in a closet, as if a little girl would come and put her clothes on for tomorrow. But perhaps the most poignant thing we saw on our way down, just down to 26th Street here in South Joplin, a church, all but leveled. The only thing still standing, the crucifix, sort of a sentinel watching over as the people here of Joplin begin to put their lives back together again, and perhaps symbolic of the millions of prayers headed this town's way from not only Missouri and Kansas, but all over the country and all over the world.
Fox 4's John Holt, after covering the Joplin tornado for the past 3 days, now joins us live from Sedalia tonight, leading the Fox 4 News team coverage there. John, what are you seeing?
Phil and Susan, I must say it is quite a relief to come from what we saw in Joplin with a death toll that is still climbing to Sedalia. While it's certainly no less a concern for the people here, it is a relief to be able to report that, as you indicated, no deaths. And the injuries, the nearly 24 injuries we are told by the Highway Patrol here, walk-in type injuries, minor. Everybody will be fine. What we are seeing is some of the similar kinds of damage. You have sheet metal cast about, thrown up into trees, and this mobile home park, this is the Elm Hills Mobile Home Park, which is in the south part, just on the southern edge of Sedalia, is destroyed. Amazingly, nobody hurt in this mobile home park. Similar story just to the northeast of here, a neighborhood known as Brentwood. This is a neighborhood of homes. Jiao Jiao Shen was there earlier, and Jiao Jiao, a lot of damage there, and if there were any injuries, very minor. All right, Jiao Jiao, thank you for that. And again, you mentioned the repair and the recovery. It's already beginning to happen here as we see power crews. Again, a lot of this kind of twisted metal thrown about. We're under a curfew here now starting at 9 o'clock as they try to keep people away from this scene to avoid any kind of looting. So far, no reports of any major problems. More of our coverage from Sedalia as it begins to rain and the recovery continues a bit later. All right, John Holt back live here in Sedalia as we continue our coverage of this wicked weather here on Fox 4 News at 9. As you may know, we raced to Sedalia from our coverage in Joplin, where, of course, we saw untold devastation and loss of life. The good news, not any loss of life here, and the damage not nearly as severe. But before we left Joplin today, we ran into another amazing survival story. A woman who rode out the storm at St. John's Regional Medical Center, which was kind of that hospital that was the focal point of much of the coverage. She was in the hospital at the time of the storm, a woman fighting for her life in more ways than one. So you were up here in 575.
575 for a month.
Sheila Boyd is battling cancer. She never dreamed she'd take on another freak of nature, an EF5.
Here, Gray, evacuate. Code Gray, evacuate. And then everybody started getting evacuated into the hall, and then all the windows blew out, and it blew us to the floor, and me and this old lady crawled around to the coffee room area and hung on the walls, and I kind of laid down on top of her, and we just rode it out.
Hospitalized for a month for surgery and chemo, Sheila found herself in a new fight for survival.
Everybody was hooked IVs poles. They unhooked everybody's IV poles and said, make it to the stairway. And I said, is there a floor underneath us? Can we walk? Is there a floor underneath us? She said, I don't know.
They managed somehow to scramble down 5 floors. Back home in Baxter Springs, Kansas, husband Charles felt helpless when he heard the hospital took a hit.
Oh my God, my heart went to my legs. It just killed me.
Somehow, a granddaughter made it to St. John's and in the chaos found Sheila.
We're getting out here with meat. We smell gas fumes.
But in the chaos of a deadly tornado, a priceless keepsake lost, a granddaughter's lamb doll, Lammy, given to Sheila to help her cope with cancer.
I grabbed it as leaving, but then I dropped it in the room, and the nurse grabbed a hold of me and wouldn't let me go back for it. Count my blessings, but I want Lammy in my purse and my shoes. That's the only shoes I got.
A husband understands a lamb lost, but is grateful it's not a life lost.
How good do you feel to have her sitting next to you right now?
Oh, wonderful.
Susan, Phil, the chances of her finding Lammy or her shoes or anything else, very, very doubtful tonight. That hospital completely cordoned off. It is likely to have to be demolished. Back to you, and we'll have more from Sedalia as our coverage continues. Wouldn't that be nice? You know, you combine Monday Night Football with Halloween and throw in the chance for the Chiefs to move into a tie for first place, and you've got a big game at Arrowhead Stadium. We all remember last year, the Monday night tilt here with the Chargers. It was a rainy, awful night for Phillip Rivers. It wasn't Halloween, it was the home opener, but that's the kind of night we want for Phillip Rivers out of San Diego. Al Wallace joins me now as we welcome the Chargers and a lot of crazy fans here on Halloween night to Arrowhead Stadium.
Nothing like football on a Monday night, nothing like the craziness we're going to get at Arrowhead tonight, John Holt.
All right, thanks, Jason, from inside the stadium where they are getting ready for football tonight, Monday night tilt, Chiefs and Chargers. As we've talked, a chance for the Chiefs to get back into first place after being 0-3 to start the season. We have a full half hour of coverage live here from Arrowhead Stadium to get you as primed up as these fans are tonight for a little Monday Night Football, and that includes a gorgeous night that Mike Thompson and a couple of his friends have come up with for Monday Night
Football. If the costumes are any indication, John, we've already won this game. This is as good as it gets.
Well, listen, it doesn't get better than Halloween night. I mean, Halloween night.
Halloween, there's no trick-or-treating going on here.
Right.
That's the thing.
Right. We'll hope the trick is on the Chargers. Thanks, guys, for coming by. Hey, listen, here's the deal. We talk about Halloween night, Monday Night Football. This is actually only the 8th time in franchise history that the Chiefs have played on a Halloween. And while you typically wouldn't think that that's a very lucky time to play football, it certainly has been for the Chiefs. Get this, 5 of the 7 so far the Chiefs have won on Halloween night. Their only loss came in 1993 against Miami. And back in 1971, remember this, they tied the Raiders. That was back before they did the sudden death thing. So Halloween's been good for the Chiefs. And fans can't forget last year's game around Halloween time. Buffalo rolled into Arrowhead Haley threw out a trick in overtime, calling a last-second timeout that nullified a 52-yard game winner. And then Ryan Suckup, Mr. Irrelevant, kicked his game winner from 35 out. Chiefs win 13-10. Let's hope that Halloween luck continues tonight. A little added pressure too, Al, because everybody knows there's just something special about Monday Night Football.
The Chiefs definitely in that NFL spotlight tonight.
And you know, these players know that all around the league, they're the only game all of their opponents are watching.
Hey, guess what? They've had 8 days to think about exactly that.
All right. Al Wallace, thanks. More from
Back
you
in a
here.
few.
Exactly.
Back
We'll
in a
hear
few.
from Al and Jason as we continue our coverage. Hey, you know, turning the season around, is it luck? What is it? Oh, Coach Haley sporting a different look, perhaps.
A lot of times I see fear, you know.
Is it time for opponents to fear the beard, or just what's up with that scruffy look for the coach? And you've probably wondered on a Halloween night, what are the Chiefs players' favorite Halloween candies of all time? I know you wondered it. I did too. We'll find out as Fox 4 News at 5 live from the stadium continues.
The city executed the search warrant this afternoon.
All as anxious neighbors watched, wondering what crews would find inside. Fox 4's Gia Vang was there. She's working for you live now with where some of those animals are being held tonight. Gia?
Live in Kansas City, Missouri.
Gia, thanks. Another warrant issued tonight for the arrest of a businessman accused of selling mobile homes without their titles. It's a Fox 4 follow-up in the Problem Solvers Roundup for March. That's at 9:30.
Tonight at 10, problems with raccoons in Lawrence. People fear raccoons acting strangely may have rabies. What animal experts believe it really is. That's new tonight at 10.
More back and forth tonight between the Occupy KC movement and Kansas City, Missouri police. Tonight, the Occupy movement is being told to move a few things anyway. Protesters from the Occupy KC movement say police showed up tonight to ask them to take down any structures. Occupiers took down the largest military tent, but say they're keeping up all the other tents.
They're not asking us to leave. It has to come down.
Occupiers say they're not planning to leave their current spot near Liberty Memorial anytime soon.
Rain finally over for at least one day.
We get a break, put the umbrella down, but not for long.
Yeah, don't put it too far away.
Doesn't take long to John.
Mike, thanks. Kansas City police tonight looking for a woman who shot a man in the face. It happened around 7 at 59th and Tracy. Remarkably, police tell Fox 4 News tonight the victim's wounds are not life-threatening. 2 women, one carrying a small child, were injured just after midnight in a shooting on Kansas City's east side. It happened in the gated Ridgeview apartment complex on Denver Avenue. One woman was shot in the arm and lower abdomen, taken to a hospital. Another woman was shot but refused medical attention. Both victims telling police they didn't see the shooter. And tonight, police say they have no suspects. And here at 9:31, here are the top stories we're following for you tonight on Fox 4 News at 9. And we begin in the Northland, where animal control officers were back at a woman's home, this time armed with a warrant. They removed multiple cats again, but today, Dolores Metcalf was nowhere to be found. Neighbors want the cat collecting at her home stopped. The Bishop of Kansas City St. Joseph back in court today. Bishop Robert Finn's lawyers want a misdemeanor count dismissed. Prosecutors accusing Bishop Finn of failing to report suspected child abuse by a former priest. The Jackson County judge hearing the case is expected to rule next week.
Long Ranger ahead. John?
Mike, thanks. 1 month and 1 day after the death of 17-year-old Trayvon Martin, the case moves from Florida to Washington. Fox's Phil Keating takes us to a forum sponsored by Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee focusing on racial profiling. Hot picks tonight and a couple of hot rescues. First, a horse gets trapped in a septic tank in Portland, Oregon. It took a while, but rescue crews were able to safely get the horse out. The homeowner's on scene as well as a vet. It's unclear who the horse belongs to or why it was so close to that open septic tank, but doing just fine tonight. More hot picks. This time it's a man trapped in mud. Firefighters trying to rescue him here. Seems he was just minding his own business, walking along a construction site and simply fell in, buried alive in the mud. Atlanta rescue crews first had to move the mud away from his face so he could breathe. The force of all that mud was so strong that a firefighter got trapped for a while himself. They used ropes, a basket, and a ladder. After about an hour, they were able to pull him from the mud. They took him to a hospital. He is expected to make a full recovery, and we assume the firefighter is as well.
What a mess. Two muddy stories, and it looked like it was quite a job for both of them.
I'm not sure which is worse, the septic tank or the mud. I think I know the answer to that.
I would definitely go for the mud, but it didn't look like an easy job, either one of them, trying to rescue those, the animal or the man.
You know what this is?
Is that your ticket for the Mega Millions?
That's my Mega Millions.
Is it the winning ticket?
There it is. See it? Check it out. Burke. Nope.
Well, it's coming up next, so check out your tickets. $363 million.
Across America.